everybody, welcome to my channel for a new battle report. This time I was playing a game with Infernal Dwarves, wanted to try out a list against Dread Elf played by Warhall, who is also a French speaking, at least he's from Belgium, so he's not French, but a French speaking YouTuber. So it was really interesting to play against each other, because we're doing the same hobby, so to say. In addition to playing T9A, it's also doing battle reports, so it's always interesting to exchange with a peer, so to say. The list I was trying out, I wanted to keep the Master Occultism. I think it brings some good answer against targets that could be annoying to face for Infernal Dwarves, and I didn't want to try out the rocket battery as a war machine. I prefer to try something more dynamic with the Master Occultist, so we'll see how that goes. Then I have a Lamassu Scholar with Dragon Staff. I have a VZBSB who had a 1-up spear, reroll to hit, fear, and an additional spell and also additional movement. I felt this could, the two setup of the character could give me flexibility to move from one block to the other. Then I played 23 Spear, Citadel Guard, 20 Blunderbuss, 2 units of Slaves, 2 units of Anointed, 1-time paired weapon that can be out of the bubble, and 1-time great weapon, the Bastion, and 2 Kalim Titan, one the fighty version, the other one the rocket battery. So I wanted to try that out. As you can see, a lot of double in the list, but with some different builds sometimes. We'll see how that goes. My opponent was basically playing a big block of Silks and Spear with 3 mage character in the unit. Then he had 2 units of auxiliaries, 2 units of dark warlock acolytes, that are not mage, so they are quite cheap for what they do, I felt. And they give amazing lateral movement to the list, but they are sensitive to panic. 12 Obsidian Guard, a Repeater Battery, 2 the new Hunting Chariot, also looking forward to see what they do now, and the Kraken and a Mist Leviathan, basically as his main piece of chaff. But as you can see, everything outside of the main block is pretty cheap, so he could sacrifice pretty much everything to chaff if he needs to. I picked the following spell selection, so we play Sacred Target, Counter Trust, just randomly rolled, and here you have all the spells, so we both have plenty of spell to do. I have maybe too much, I felt, like 3, 9, 4, 8 spell, it's quite a lot. I'm not sure I have enough dice to cast all of that. It's good to have a lot of spells, but then you also need to take into account how many channels you have in the list and so on. Matchup analysis, so I felt secondary might be hard to win. Sacred Target, we could place them in a way to make hard to get both, basically. I will try, since training game, I want to try out to put them pretty close. I felt I should be superior in close combat, and I felt from range damage it should be pretty even. We could do both something from range, but I felt I could be more resilient than him. I expect a lot from Master Occultist in this matchup, target single models that could be annoying in the flanks, and except Spears, I think it's kind of hard for him to approach my blocks, and also Kalim Titan. Counter Trust, it would be good to start, and Estimation I felt should be drawish. Deployment, so he won't roll for side, give me the bottom with the Impassable, and decided to put his second target here in front of the Impassable, which makes totally sense. I debated a bit. A first safe choice would have been way more to the right than what I did, somewhere here on the strong flank, and then deploy quite compact here and move towards him. I felt I want to try something more explosive, so I put mine as close as possible in the middle of the table, basically. And then I decided basically to drop to start, so I put like some slave units. He put pretty quick the Mist Leviathan that was right here, and then I think I did slaves. He did Mist Leviathan, then I did something more on the right. Maybe Fighty Titan? I think Fighty Titan. Then he puts something else, then I think pretty quick I also put them to the flank, and then I drop, basically. So these are the Trojan Anointed with Discipline Banner per weapon. Then here I have Shooty Titan. I felt I could play with Impassable, which could be nice. Bastion, Slave, Citadel Guard block, Great Weapon, Trojan Anointed, and on the right you have Fighty Titan, Slave, and Lamassu. Maybe something I can say, I was really annoyed by the footprint and the fact that it was Counter Trust, and the first time with the list didn't make it any easier for me. So basically I was really constrained to try to put everybody in the bubble of 12 for the reroll, so I didn't want them on the flank because taking a tier check on the 9 could be the end for them. So this constrained, so to say, a lot my deployment, and I didn't manage to put the second slave in a good way, I felt. At the same time, I wanted to have both shooty unit. Since it dropped pretty quickly, the Leviathan, I felt I could exploit this mistake of showing me this one, and that's going to be in range turn 1, to potentially march and shoot from turn 1 on the Leviathan. So yeah, I had some things I wanted to do, but then between the footprint, the drops that I put at the beginning due to counter trust, it was kind of hard to get what I wanted, and I didn't feel really good. If you check the 2 secondary are here, I'm playing around an impassable. Then I have some strengths on the right, but as you can see, he managed to try to divert me a bit, and basically his plan is going to slow me down, focus on this one, and gate later on maybe on this one. So it's going to be interesting. His deployment, he put Acolyte here, second Acolyte here, a Kraken on the far right. Kraken that is really annoying for both the Anointed and the Titan. He could basically win against both easily. Then auxiliaries, Spear with character, Leviathan, Chariot, Rocket Battery, the Repeater Bolt Thrower, sorry, and the unit of Obsidian Guard. So as you can see, he put all his scoring towards the left. Yeah, this is we will see how that goes. Basically, he has all his strengths facing the 2 secondary, where I'm in worth shape, I felt, thinking about secondary. My turn 1, I push forward, but not as much. I think I should have pushed the slave more, especially in the middle, try to create something. Towards the right, I move a bit forward, but not that much, as you can see. I don't know why I moved them. I think that because of the high charge range of them, and I wanted also to have counter charge in case he attempts some long charge onto the Titan. But as you can see, I can't push more, I can't push a lot due to those 2 units looking at me, which I felt I'm like blocked on the strong flank. At the same time, trying to push here in the middle with 1 Titan and 2 block against most of his army, which is not going to be easy. And here on the left, I just felt I'm going out of range of the Repeater Bolt Thrower and of some Chariot if I can. For the moment, I'm not in a hurry. Magic Phase, I was only able to get a range to a Grave Call, the rest is just away from me. So Grave Call on those guys, kill 4. Hereditary on those guys, thinking about future combat maybe. And then with shooting attack, I got 3 wounds from the Kadim Titan onto the Mist Leviathan. His turn 1, yeah, he pushed here, which I saw, but I didn't feel was going to be a problem. Basically, all my shooting is here. I should be able to get shot against him. He has only 5 wounds left, so that should be okay between the magic and shooting. The rest, just as you can see, started moving from the right toward more the middle. So basically, he recognized the weak flank. He just don't want to give any points for free, but just to slow me down on the strong flank to avoid me pushing more towards the hill and getting a strong position here towards this secondary. Basically, this one, the way he deployed, is going to be very, very hard to reach for me. In a magic phase, he got Silver Spike on the Bastion, did 3 wounds to the Bastion, and another 2 wounds to the unit. Then he got reroll to hit on those guys. Shooting, he started with 1 Chariot. So basically, I gave a flank to everybody except 1 Chariot and those guys. And the 2 units that are shooting me, the Chariot did 1 wound, and those guys did 3 wounds to the Kadim Titan. So here I'm starting to see the troubles. I felt I should be able to take his shooting much more than that, and I already have a near-death Kadim Titan after just 1 turn of shooting. So I felt it's going to be hard to maintain the position here in the middle with a Kadim Titan that could die next turn, and that could already be a huge problem for me to avoid him pushing too much. My turn 2. So I got another position from the Titan, trying to force him to push forward, trying to protect myself with the Bastion, and at the same time getting front shot from the Titan plus the Bastion and the magic. So I jumped from here to here with my Master Occultist. So I have Occultist plus Bastion plus Kadim Titan, try to finish this guy, which could be key because he's in a position to be annoying, and then I could basically from next turn try to activate Chaff and move in the map. So it's pretty key to get rid of him. Here I move back to stay out of range of the Repeater Bolt Thrower. I'm starting to move a bit forward with them, push the slave forward. I lost a bunch due to the old rule of everybody taking DT plus a lake. So this is a bad spot for the slaves, but I don't know really what to do with them. They were deployed badly. I didn't find a way to put them in the middle, and basically now I'm troubled to try to figure out what to do with them. So I'm trying just to bait him to take any stupid charge and then be able to profit from that. Other than that, yeah, I used the hill to be able to move forward, give him long charge range of them, and then yeah, just repositioning with Lamassu. In the magic phase, I got breast weapon off on the Kadim Titan with reroll to wound against them, and I did 4 wounds. He passes the panic check, minimize non-rerollable, and shooting I did only 1 wound to the Leviathan. So this was a bit the problem for magic. I tried to get Grave Call, I just dispelled that, and after that I put the breast weapon, and I think I failed the mark for them. So basically I got nothing too significant and only 1 wound from all the shooting on him, which was very disappointing. So yeah, he's still alive and he's going to be trouble. And that's his turn too, so he charged with Leviathan onto the slave. I expected that one and could be a huge block, so I felt I need to flee that one, so I flee all the way here. He failed charge, obviously. This was in the front, so he had no other option to redirect. I was careful about that. And he continued to move away from his weak flank, pushes a bit forward with shooting, getting into a good position, and he's continued to try to apply pressure on the Bastion, which is a key piece here in the middle. In the magic phase, he got another silver spike that did another 2 wounds to the Bastion, so he's being successful with that, and another 4 wounds to the Infernal Warrior. So I'm starting to lose wounds. With shooting, he did 3 wounds to those guys that passes the 9 rollable, but are already not really in a way to be able to fight. And I felt only the Acolytes are a big trouble for them. I cannot really move forward and get charged by them because they strike before me. He has magic, and I would just lose them pretty quick. Yeah, what else did he got? Reroll to hit on something, which, yeah, another shooting. Did 1 wound to the Titan with a chariot. The rest I was able to minimize what he could do. And like I said, he did some wounds here on the left. So Titan's still alive, but only 2 wounds left. My turn. So I decided against charging the Leviathan. I could have potentially charged him with the Kadim Titan. Most likely he would have fled all the way. Yeah, maybe he would have ended up here. Then he could easily 9 rollable, rally, and reuse it another time. So I felt better not charging and continue to get some shots. I'm not sure I suffered a wound. I think he's still a 4. But yeah, I just felt I could just shoot him down this time. He's still close to me. I could just move a bit back, shoot him. So that's what I did. And I lost a wound. I managed to put me in this position basically to get hard cover from the Bastion in case he wants to shoot me. So I try to protect myself. He also has Fate Judgment in this unit, so I have to be away from him. Those guys didn't move much. I started to push towards the hill and slaves. Those guys continue to flee. I move my Lamassu within 6 to rally on the 9 next round. Started to get on the hill. In the magic phase, he Binding Scroll the Grave Call. I got Mark for Doom, did 3 wounds to the Leviathan. I miscast and lose 1 Infernal Warrior, I guess. And then with shooting, I kill this guy, so he had only 1 wound left, so I just kill him with the Bastion. And I kill also 1 Warlock with something, I felt. And that's pretty much it. So I got rid of the Leviathan, which is not bad. The Warlock are continuing to... Yep, they are not so scary anymore. The fact that they lost wound. So I felt I really need to do something on him to be able to really push with my strong flank and establish a strong position. Because here I'm basically losing wound and wounds. Going to die at some point. And then it's only Citadel Guard to hold against all of this. His turn 3, he reposition. As you can see, he's being just patient, moving a bit forward, forming a strong battle line, not taking any risk. Binding Scroll, Fate Judgment in Magic, didn't want to lose this time the Titan. A Quicksilver Lash did 1 wound to my Bastion and another 2 wounds to the Infernal Warrior. So Alchemy doing really a good job on my Bastion. Shooting, he did 1 wound to my Anointed on left and killed some 2 warriors with those guys. So yeah, Bastion is not really so strong anymore. On my turn 4, I saw some nothing crazy. No, it's coming later, so nothing crazy. As you can see, I'm playing defensive, continue to pushing here. So basically, I'm trying to conserve points here and push with here, but I'm in trouble. I have no chaff anymore to be able to push. The slave didn't rally on the 9, move out of the table. Those guys I march. Lost some guys, created a panic, they fled. Yeah, just played really, really badly with the slaves. That was horrendous what I did. And here I positioned my Kadim Titan within 18 to get shot on this chariot. I felt this is good, and still getting some cover against at least those guys and away from the rest of the shooting, so I felt this is decent. In the magic phase, I got Mark for Doom, 3 wounds on a Kraken, so this time I move Occultist here to try to do something about him and to be able to push later on. So Mark for Doom, 3 wounds on a Kraken, which is doing a good job. I shot with him on the Chariot, but misfire, loses a wound, which puts me down to only 1 wound remaining, which is really annoying. And that's it. His turn 4. Start to push slightly towards secondary. Singh is in good shape. Those guys are almost dead, so he just needs something to just finish them off, and then that should be fine for him to really be able to push me more and put me under pressure. Continue to retreat here. So he pushes slightly more on the left, but doesn't take any risk. Continue to just shoot me down and getting towards secondary. In the magic phase, he gets a high fate judgment. I roll. I don't have any binding anymore. Just kill the Titan. Quicksilver Lash did another wound to the Bastion, and with shooting he kills 2 warriors, so I have only 8 left, and another wound to the Tauric Anointed on the left. So yeah, complicated. I took some charges, so I felt here the Bastion is nearly dead. I felt if I charge auxiliaries was a charge I think on the 9, and then I could redirect and get a charge on the 10 on the Chariot. I felt both charges were pretty decent, so I have not much to lose. If I'm staying there, I'm dead. If I get the charge off, I could overrun towards that. Maybe I get into contact. And the same for the Chariot. Basically, if I get in, I could get some nice overrun, which could open up a lot of things for me with a nearly dead Bastion. So I felt nothing, no big downside to try it. So I felt, let's go. Charge them, they fled. Charge the Chariot, he fled as well, which makes totally sense. Other than that, yeah, I got into position, so I just slide those guys in case he attempt to charge. I want to get free pass, so I just put Lamassu here. Not optimal, but I felt I cannot fight all these elves with only 20 Citadel Guard. I move both characters out of the unit just in case I need to flee. Put my master here that has no line of sight but front arc against him. BSB is here behind, and trying to get into position with those 2 units. But yeah, it kind of gets hard to get towards secondary. He also has 2 scoring units, so it's kind of hard. In the magic phase, I failed Mark for Doom on the Kraken, which is annoying. And then I failed Gravecall on 4 dice, and I got Breast Weapon and killed 2 of those guys, but didn't matter much. So yeah, weak magic phase. I mean, I put 4 dice on Gravecall, 3 dice Mark for Doom, and fail both of them. Is really key, because killing the Kraken now is huge. If he's dead, he needs to use the Acolyte to chaff me, which is a terror check, which is many things. It's also more point and so on. So yeah, I felt this is huge. And his turn, what he did. So first of all, he attempted a charge with the spear guys on the Bastion. I felt I'm going to double flee, but after seeing the pictures, I think it's a huge mistake from him to charge the Bastion. Because if I hold, it means that those guys can stay here. I'm going to get 2 units into the secondary. I can use, worst case, use Lamassu to chaff, but I'm getting at least a tie on the secondary. So I think here this was a huge opportunity for me to save something from this game, something close to a draw. And I decided to flee, but it will mean I'm going to lose secondary. So I felt this is a huge mistake from him, and huge mistake from me as well in the reaction. So yeah, I was really annoyed by that. So he double charge, moved towards the Citadel Guard, and now I'm in big trouble. Uses the Kraken with a couple of wounds left to chaff me, and the rest, yeah, just move towards my Anointed, basically. In magic phase, he gets Silver Spike, did 1 wound to my mage. I felt I had to let that go. He wounds me on 3 up, I have a 4 up ward save, I have 3 wounds, so the likelihood that he kills me in 1 go is pretty low, and I was already in such a bad shape that I needed to take some risk. Did 1 wound. He didn't rally them, but rally the Chariot. He got some reroll to wound on them in case I'm crazy enough to charge with Lamassu and 4 guys, plus the big mage. And shooting did another wound to the Anointed. My turn 6, just rallied, save the points, go to kill the Kraken. With magic I'm getting ward save and hereditary on him. I'm going to kill him, overrun, out of line of sight of them, And basically at this point of time I couldn't contest any more secondary because he had 2 scoring. I had only 1. These guys were fleeing. So I just rally them, move away, put the character back in the unit, and that's pretty much it. And he's turn 6, he didn't do much, didn't take any more points. So I ended up being a 15-5. I felt I played it pretty badly, to be honest. But it was not much action as well, so not the most enjoyable game and battle report to make, because I think that's not a lot to analyze. I think from the turn, after the turn 1, more or less, we saw which way it's going, and I felt if he plays that right after that, with no mistakes, he can easily win secondary and win some points. So the score is kind of deserved, but I had opportunity as well to save the secondary as well. So it was a range damage game. Didn't expect to lose from range. This was a surprise for me. I should have attacked much more. I felt I made the decision on a macro level to get the secure target close from each other to drop the first turn was right, knowing now what he does from range. But the right play would have been push the slave max, play much more aggressive towards him, and that would have been a decent game plan. Here I did exactly what you shouldn't do, which is something in between. I picked from secondary an aggressive game plan, and then I didn't follow it with the deployment, and basically then I couldn't do it anymore because of bad deployment. So obviously down to the list playing for the first time, to some issues in the list as well, and counter trust doesn't make it any easier. So I have some reason why I made so many mistakes at the beginning, but this basically then put the game on a bad tracks, and after that to recover was kind of hard. My second target, I think the right play would have been to put it more to the right, deploy more compact towards the right, push towards him. It does the same towards me, and it ended up being pretty much drawish. Slaves very bad deployed, bad played badly, and without them I couldn't attack. Hard to get Occultism in the right position, and Occultism was under some pressure as soon as I got out of the unit, which is an issue. I had some footprint issues, too many big units, but no big strong unit. For example, an Anointed Star. I missed this type of unit to be strong on a secondary, and some right plays from the DE. I think the only but still quite significant mistakes that wasn't punished was to charge the Bastion with his spear block. I think that was the mistake. Other than that, he just played quite conservative. He could have probably pushed more on his strong flank, one way or the other, trying to use a new unit to chaff me and then push and so on. So he could have maybe taken more risk on the strong flank to get more points. Other than that, he did what he needed to do on the weak flank and moving back and then putting pressure from range. But I didn't expect him to be so good from range. So definitely some good learning point for me. Guys, that's all for this battle report. Still interesting to analyze. Not the most interesting game because we didn't fight a lot. It was mainly a range game and decided at the beginning. I think the most interesting part is really deployment and turn 1, and after that I think I want to say like basically the problems were already created, and then I wasn't anymore, due to the mechanics and the design of the list, I wasn't anymore in a position to readjust, because I felt nothing could really move forward safely, and I was just under pressure without the ability to react, which was a bit frustrating for me. So definitely a lot of things that I would change in the list, but it's still interesting to try out some new options. Guys, thanks a lot for watching, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye.